Hey fam, welcome back. I am your favorite shift relationship strategist, Marshaun Olaniyan, and you are listening to Love Restored on KCCR, the Brownstone. Listen, I decided to start Love Restored because just like many of you out there, I'm sure we heard this time and time again. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know that I did not get the tips, the tools, the strategies, or anything to be able to articulate the things that I wanted in a relationship, let alone to choose a man, let alone to let a man choose me, because I also suffer from low self-esteem, and just it went down the rabbit hole. I didn't have a lot of self-esteem. I also didn't have a lot of training or conversations or tips, tools, strategies on how to be in a relationship, let alone what a healthy relationship really means, and all of the things that must go into creating a healthy relationship, like the sacrifices, like the losing sleep, like the all of the things that come along with it, including but not limited to on when you're expanding your family and the things that have to, the dynamics and how everything changes when a child or children come into it. And every time you have a child, it's a new dynamic in your relationship. I had no clue, even though I come from a large family of children. I just didn't have any idea of what that actually took, and I didn't have any instructions. And so instead of you going down the same road that I experienced, you are coming to listen to KCCR Love Restored, specifically by your host, Marshaun Olaniyan here. And today we're going to talk about those 10 lessons that I specifically learned by not setting my own boundaries throughout my life. So they're in no particular order, but I did want to come and share them with you here today, because I know that if I have experienced some of these, then you probably have experienced some of these as well. And so the first thing that I did, the first lesson that I learned by setting my boundaries is I became more aware of my wants, my needs, and desires. Now, what that actually means is that I was able to sit back, reflect on the things that I did not like about my life, the things that I wanted to bring into my life, the things that I wanted to attract into my life, and I had to figure out the things that I wanted to repel from my life. I also had to understand that the words that I'm speaking have power. And so if I wanted to attract the good things, if I wanted to be able to articulate my wants, needs, and desires, I had to sit down, take a seat somewhere, and figure out what those things were. I had to look back on the men that I was dating previously and figure out, I like that treatment. Okay, that treatment I didn't like. So we booted the treatment I didn't like and we kept the treatment that I did. And that is what I articulated the next time I would date, or I would watch for those things. So I didn't necessarily give the blueprint to every man that I was dating, but I absolutely, because I sat down and knew what I wanted, I heard my own voice, I heard my own thoughts. I was able to now articulate what my boundaries are. Because here's the thing, men want to win with you. The way that they win with you is by knowing your blueprint. Now, and they know your blueprint by you being able to communicate your blueprint. You cannot communicate your blueprint if you have not taken the time to figure out what your blueprint is. Does that make sense? Perfect. So you have to know what your want, needs, and desires are. And once I started setting my boundaries, I became more aware of what those wants, needs, and desires were. So I was able to let him know that, hey, this don't work for me, or I love that, keep doing that, right? Give praises and words of affirmation. The second lesson that I learned by not setting my boundaries is I was able to say no. I was able to say it with more power, with more strength, more conviction, like, this is what I mean, being firm with it. But I also understood that it was more than just saying no, that by setting my boundaries became a way for me to show respect toward myself as well as toward my time. And the more that you respect yourself, the more that you respect your time, the more that others will come in and see your time as, I can't just waste her time. I cannot just keep showing up late and she's still there waiting for me. In the case of dating, right? You know, some people, you hear that they've been out on these dating situations and they were sitting there for half an hour with no communication from the other person. Well, I don't have time for that. Number one, I never stayed for an hour because that's just way too long for no communication. However, right, there has to be some type of communication, like, I messed up, I'm running way behind, a traffic accident happened, something has to be clarified in order for me to feel like I'm not wasting my time with you. So once I understood that my time was precious and I cannot get this thing back, that is the only thing that all of us lose. You can never get the time back that you have sat there and wasted, watched TV, did whatever things that you did not want to do. And even the things that you did want to do, nobody can get their time back. Once that minute is gone, it's gone. Once that day is gone, it is gone. So when I decided that my time is precious, I put boundaries around my time. So now if I don't hear from you after about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm out of there. And this is friendships as well. I mean, I need for you to understand that my time is valuable. So by respecting my time, I am respecting myself. I am also respecting my boundary. But I'm articulating that to you as well. So now you're not in the dark as to why I'm no longer sitting there waiting for you, because you felt that your time was more important than mine. And you also felt that I would still be there, which is why you didn't communicate that you were going to be late. Well, no, that's just not happening anymore. So once I was able to say no and definitely respect my time, others will respect will respect your time, right? The third thing, which actually goes hand in hand with number two, is when you put your boundaries in place to those people, to the people that you're dating, to your friends, to your family, to your children, whoever the person or people are that you are putting these or laying these boundaries out to. Those people that respect you will respect your boundaries. They will not be offended by the fact that you put a boundary in place. They will not be offended that you enforce your boundary. What actually happens is quite the opposite. They respect you more. They look at you like, oh, okay, again, I can't play with her, right? I have to respect the fact that she said that she don't like X, Y, and Z. So let's go back to the dating example, right? In the dating example, if I didn't hear from you after a period of time, I left, right? So if I'm saying, because I also want to give people the opportunity to know what my boundaries are, so maybe I let it pass the first time, depending on the length of time, because I'm just not going to sit there after over an hour and there's no communication. There's no way that you want to deal with me, and I'm totally fine with that. But beyond that, right? If you're a couple minutes late and you know that you're running behind, and then you finally text like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I know that I'm already late." Whatever the thing is, right? There is some communication. But then after we meet and he ha ha, right? And then I say, "Hey, you got about a 15-minute window. That's about as long as I'm willing to wait." This is without any communication. Because they communicated, I want to, yay, thank you for communicating with me. But please know that if there is no communication, there's no way that I'm sitting here. So if we have a date or whatever the meeting is, again, this is including clients, this is including friendships, this is including everybody that I deal with that comes across my path. The people that you set these boundaries with, that have respect for you, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to give, they will respect them. The fourth lesson that I learned by setting boundaries is that my feelings are important. We have a tendency as people, and specifically as women, we are very nurturing and we want to give, right? And then a lot of times we're giving so much that our cup is no longer full. It's definitely not half full, right? And so we're giving from these drops at the bottom. Well, if your cup, my cup, if my cup is not full, how can I give you something that I don't have? So that's the same thing for you. You cannot give what you do not have. And so what I really like is the way Oprah put it. She said, no, I don't even want to give you from my cup. I want to give you from the overflow, the running over part. You can get from the running over part. So I need to keep my cup full. My feelings are important. Your feelings may be important, but I definitely want you to know that my feelings are important. So when I say yes to other people, I need to make sure that I'm not saying no to myself. And it's the opposite as well. When I say no to people, I am absolutely saying yes to myself, yes to my time, yes to this event, no to this event, whatever the thing is. Yes, I can speak. No, I can't speak. Yes, I can meet. No, I can't meet. Whenever you're saying yes to one thing, you're absolutely saying no to others. Keep that in mind. Your feelings matter. They are important. And really they're the most important in that particular conversation, because you can only control you. You only have control over your feelings. They have control over their feelings. They have control over the time that they show up, or their time management, etc. So your feelings matter. You are important, and all of it matters. Now, let's cut to the chase because I know I've been going, but I want to let you know and to remind you where you are listening to this at. Right? You are listening to Love Restored by your host, Marshaun Olaniyan on KCCR, the Brownstone. Now, if you have yet to download your apps on the smart devices, then I implore you to go ahead and download all of the apps on all of your smart devices, because this is the way that you're going to keep up with Marshaun on Love Restored, as well as the other beautiful personalities that we have here on KCCR, the Brownstone. If you have yet to visit the website, brownstoneworldwide.com, then to go ahead and check out the website. And then I've mentioned several times this particular season that we have a new addition to the family, which is Brownstone Living, the magazine, which is only $5.99 per month. There is a link in the show notes or in the description somewhere here, and it is an affiliate link. So if you go ahead and check out that link, you will sign up for $5.99 per month. And here's the thing. The beautiful thing about that is at least the first month, when you sign up for the first month for their first $5.99, you will receive not only this month's issue, you will also receive last month's issue. So for the first month, you're going to receive 2 digital magazines, $5.99 right now. Check out the link. Now, let's jump back into lesson number 5 that I learned by not setting boundaries. The 5th lesson that I learned is that just because someone is disappointed in my response, it does not mean that I made the wrong choice. They are responsible for their feelings. I am responsible for my own. So I'm also responsible for the choices that I make. Even if I make a wrong choice, I have to be okay with that choice, because here's the thing. Not choosing is a choice. Not making a decision is a choice. And so instead of allowing the world or outside influences to make the decision for me, I make the decision. I'm not always going to make the right decision. You are not always going to make the right decision. It is a part of life. It is a part of your learning experience, which is why I'm talking about what I learned by not setting boundaries. All of it goes together in creating you into who you are becoming. All of these lessons, right? You could be disappointed by what I'm saying to you, but I also know that in me saying what I need to say to you, I understand that my feelings matter. You can take it how you want to take it, but I still got to say it. Take it how you will, but I still got to say it. Take it how you will, but I still got to say it. Take it how you want to take it. But please understand, you're going to hear what I have to say, because my voice is important. My voice matters. What I have to say matters. You have to know that what you have to say matters. You cannot control how other people receive the information that you are trying to impart to them, but you still got to impart it, because this is how you are creating the life that you want to create beyond just setting boundaries. This is how you get what you want out of life, by using this gift that God gave you, your mouth, your words. You have to be able to share those with other people, because this is how we teach people to treat us. We teach them by what we say, how we let them treat us, the things that we're willing to do and not do, how they're able to influence us. We're teaching people how to treat us every single day. The 6th lesson that I learned from not setting boundaries is that the more straightforward, clear, and concise I am at communicating my boundaries, the better they were received and even respected. See, if I was going in there and just talking in circles and I'm like, you know what I mean, but I'm really not saying anything at all, the other person is confused. They're not able to receive your message because it's all over the place. And if you're all over the place, how do you expect me to get your message? And so when I was all over the place, or I was and I'm playing with my hands and I wasn't confident, and maybe I'm sitting, kind of looking down, no eye contact. I'm not sitting up. I'm not speaking loud and clear so you can hear me. I may be even whispering because I'm kind of scared to say the thing that I really want to say to you, and I'm playing with my hands because I'm nervous, but I know I need to say this thing to you, and it's not clear. And by the end of the conversation, they exhausted because they're really trying to figure out, what are you trying to say? Like, get some cojones, right? Sit back, look the person in the eye, and tell them what you need to tell them. You can even tell them, hey, I don't even have this clear right now, but I know the way that was handled last time, I didn't feel good after the way that was handled. So can you just not do that? I'm going to figure out how I want you to handle that. But right now, I don't have that information. However, I do know I didn't like the way that felt. That is clearer than you coming in and hemming and hawing and looking down and not looking the person in the eye, and you scared because of how they're going to respond, or if they're going to make you feel silly, or if they're going to make jokes about you, whatever the thing may be. You don't have no control over how they receive the information, nor their reaction to the information that you're giving them. So be clear, concise, straightforward, get to the point, stop talking in circles. I know we as women have a tendency to do that. I need for you to sit back and think about what you want to say, so you know what your points are, so you can be very clear of what you're trying to say. And this is to everybody that you're trying to set a boundary with. I don't care who they are. Husband, wife, sister, brother, mother, daughter, a son, cousins, co-worker, boss, whomever the person is, whomever the person is, you need to be able to sit back and say, I did not like such and such. Here's where I'm at with that. Can we try this out? Because you do not only want to complain about what the person is doing, how they're showing up. I want you to speak about the thing that is annoying you and frustrating you. However, I also want you to go in there with a solution. Does that mean that the person has to take your solution on? Absolutely not. However, it gives you the opportunity to open up the door so both of you can have a conversation, and it's no longer a monologue. So you can leave your feelings at the door about the thing. I'm focused in on what the thing made me feel and how it made me feel. Didn't like that feeling. I want to articulate how what you did, how what you said, how what you didn't do made me feel. Now, can we do it this way in the future? It does not mean that you're going to get what you're asking for in the future. Again, it opens up the door for now you two to have a conversation about it, and then come to a mutual agreement of how this thing will be handled. So there's no reason that you need to keep going on the hamster wheel, round and around, where you just frustrated because the person will not respect you. But it's because you weren't clear, you weren't concise, you weren't straight to the point. Be straightforward in the things that you're asking for, and then the other person will be able to receive it, and now they have the opportunity to say, I'm going to respect this or not. Because just because you have the conversation does not mean that they are going to honor it and respect it. However, that gives you a very good clue to, should you keep this person around? If they're not respecting your boundaries, the decision is yours. But I know for me in my house, if I already have a conversation with you and now you keep doing that thing, you don't have no respect for me. You're not honoring anything that I ask you to do. And so there's no reason for you to be in my life. But that's me. I've gotten to that point where I don't need people in my life that are going to actively, consciously treat me bad. There's the door. I'm good on you. Yeah. The seventh lesson that I learned is that when I'm setting good boundaries, it freed my life for me to live the life that I want, for me to live the life that I dreamed about. I'm free. It made me feel good when I was able to set these boundaries. That tension that you may feel, that angst that you may feel because you want to have the conversation, but I don't know how they're going to act. I've had said conversation like this before, but it needs to be different this time. Maybe your delivery was off. Maybe your timing was off. Maybe you didn't ask the right questions. Maybe you went in there accusing. So it's not 100% the other person's fault all the time. We have to reflect on how we're showing up. And if you get you together, when your energy is good, when your energy is great, now you're going through the door. Okay, I'm cool. I'm good. I'm good. The eighth, oh, I said eighth. The eighth lesson that I learned is that I'm hardly ever stressed because I've set my boundaries. And it's because I prioritize myself. I prioritize my feelings. I know that I am important. I know that I am worthy. I know that I am enough, and I know what I'm bringing to the table. So I'm hardly ever stressed because I can set my boundary. It's easy now. Before it wasn't so easy. Now it's easy. And the more that you can articulate the things that you want, need, and desire, the easier it is for you to do it the next time somebody oversteps said boundary. The ninth lesson that I learned, I knew what I want and how I wanted to be treated. And so I mentioned it earlier, but now I want to really kind of go into it, because what's the saying that people don't remember what you know or something like that, but they always remember how you treated them? I know how you treated me. I know how you made me feel. And so, because I feel good about my boundary, I also want you to understand that it does make me feel a certain type of way when my boundary is respected. It does make me look at you as a person that respects me, a person that honors me, a person that heard me, a person that understood me, a person that feels me. And there is no beef that needs to be there. So I'm good after I set my boundaries. Yeah, I want you to feel good about setting your boundaries too. It feels good when we set our boundaries. It does. The 10th and final lesson that I learned by setting my boundaries is that speaking up for myself is easier the more that I do it. It helps me to create the life that I want to be a part of without the guilt, the shame, or the worrying about the other person's feelings. Because again, I have to make sure that I am prioritizing my own feelings. Because just because the person, maybe they're thinking, well, she shouldn't feel bad because of whatever, right? But I do feel bad. I do feel bad. That's why I need to have a conversation with you, because I do feel bad about what you said, what you did, etc. I do. So because I don't want to feel like that anymore, I don't want to have to worry about feeling ashamed that I allowed you to treat me this way or to talk to me that way. I don't want to feel guilty about it. I don't want to have to keep taking up mental space because I'm allowing you to treat me a certain way. It's not what I want to do. So, what I want to actually do is revert, remember who I am and whose I am, and know that I'm going to be taken care of. Because even if this man, this person walks away from me, I am going to be good. I'm going to be good because I only want people in my life that love me. I only want people in my life that cherish me. I only want people in my life that respect me and honor me. And those are the same people that I want to be able to impart my love, time, and attention to. Setting boundaries is a must in your relationships, not just your romantic one, but I'm really honed in on the romantic one because the clients that come to me, they have a tendency to be able to set all of these boundaries with all of these people outside of their home, and especially their adult children as well as their spouse. They have a harder time setting those boundaries if they ever do. And then they wonder why they're so frustrated and so angry. And it's because they have yet to set and enforce. So it's not just about setting. I know I talked about a lot setting, but it's not just the setting of the boundaries. It's also the enforcement of said boundary. When you say that you're going to do something, if a boundary or a line is crossed, now you got to be willing to do the thing that you said you were going to do. So it's not just about setting, it's also enforcing the boundary when it is crossed. You have to be willing to do that for yourself, for your children, for your children's children, and all the generations that are going to come after you. Because the higher your self-esteem is, the people that are in your circle and that are watching you, especially your children, will be able to do that same thing. later on in their life if they have not already started to pick up on it and do it. But you are the example. So be the actual example. Be the example for yourself. Feel good about yourself. Set your boundaries. Enforce your boundaries. Know what they are. Articulate and communicate them to your partner, your spouse, your friend, whomever it is. Get straight to the point. Stop talking in circles. It does not help you. It frustrates the other person. Know that your feelings are important. Know that you are worthy, right? You are listening to Marshaun Olaniyan on Love Restored. We are on KCCR, the Brownstone. Thank you for taking these 30 minutes out of your precious day, because you could have been anywhere, but yet you decided to hang out with your girl here. If you have yet to visit the website, visit brownstoneworldwide.com, download the apps, put them on all of your smart devices so you can keep up with Brownstone Worldwide and everything that is going on, including the music that we have on here, all of the other personalities that we have on here, and all of the beautiful things that they're talking about, because guess what? This radio station is all for us. We are telling our story our way. I love you guys, and there's nothing that you can do about it. I am Marshaun Olaniyan, and I will see you on the next Love Restored.